Aha, there we go. Is that sound? You're all here? Sorry about that. I think you can hear me now. Let's see if that works. Let me get myself set up. Sorry, a bit of noise, but I think you can hear me fine. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. That was completely not a technical glitch. That was me turning my mic on. So gotta love it. At least it was something simple. So really good to have you guys join me, and grab yourself something to drink if you want. No need to take notes. I just want to spend some time with you. And I have hopped on a couple minutes early because I wanted to make sure everybody can settle in and say hi. Let us know where you're joining in from, and that everything is good. And yes, Nanolin, it means I'm human. Got to turn on my mic. So, hearing about this whole pandemic topic, and I think I have something fresh and different to say about the whole topic. And really don't want to spend a whole bunch of time going into all of the bad news, because we've got enough bad news going on around ourselves that I just want to have a refreshing topic discussion about hope. And just as we get started here, I just want to look at the comments here and see you all settling in. So really good to see you guys. Hi, Lillian, Rosebud, Steffi, Madeline, Carlene, Tracy. Really good to see you. And I'm looking for just so you guys know, I've added one of my team members into the live chat, just so she can help me out in case we get any spammers or anything like that. So you guys can just sit back and relax and enjoy being here. Hey, Kim. Hi, Susan. And Lisa. So good to see you guys. And Kathy, Jennifer, Carolyn. So hi, Vin, and Louisiana, North Carolina, Ohio, Ontario, Canada, Belgium. Let's see, San Diego. Nice. And Warm from Florida. And so there's lots of you joining in from all over the place. So fun to see what is going on for you on just the practical side of things with this season. And so I want to encourage you to just take this in, and I want to hear from you in the chat as well, because right now it is not a fun time. And I would like to just start by saying that my team and I, we're all really praying for you guys, and I would like to know how specifically we can be praying for you. I can see, Vicky, you've said that you've got the virus. I would like to just ask you guys, let us know what we can be praying for. I'm really sorry to hear about that, Vicky. Please do just put in the comments, is your family doing okay? What can we be praying for, just on a practical level, so that we've got some prayer points on what's going on. And you guys can see in the comments if there's anything else. There's nothing too small. If you guys are, I know some of you have emailed in to say that you've been laid off of work, or had to go home, and there's just some different things that you need to consider that are different in your world right now. So if you have any particular needs, then just put them in the comments and just say, prayer request, and let us know. And my team and I can be a little bit more mindful of what we can be praying for. I'll keep track of that as well. And I'm just really, I know that this can feel like a scary time. And I know that our community and what's going on in your lives, I know that this can be a time that feels kind of scary. And prior to all things pandemic, is something which here we are now adding to that. I would imagine that some of you are feeling a bit overwhelmed with things. And I just want to come in with a message of hope and encouragement. And I want to encourage you to take courage, because we serve a God who is a healer, My own body is a example of God's healing power, just dramatically healing me. And I am just speaking life over your bodies and over your finances and over your health and your jobs and your families and your loved ones. And beyond that, I'm praying that God just does a deep work in each one of us through this, that the trial that we're going through is actually something that he can use for his good. I don't believe that God causes challenges, but I do believe that he works through them. He works all things together for his good. He always finds a way to make something beautiful out of challenge. And this is certainly challenging, but it doesn't need to be something that cripples us or causes us to isolate into a place that's unhealthy spiritually or emotionally. And if you need help, then please do reach out. My team, we're not a church, and you certainly need to reach out to your local community. But if you need to talk, and you just need to say, hey, I'm scared, or this is what's going on in my world and I need some prayer coverage, then write into us. Just email contact@RebeccaRjones.com. You can see here on my YouTube how to spell my name if you don't remember, or just look in a traditional Bible. You'll probably find my name spelling there. So I am just looking here that I'm just seeing that there's so many of you going through so many things that feel scary, but I truly believe that you are resilient. I truly believe that. And I believe that you're hungry for God to work in your lives. And, some of you are feeling like scared of how do I navigate this? But I believe that deep down in, that you have it in you to reach out and see God do fantastic things in your life. And I just want to encourage you to take hope and to reach toward God at this time. And what this requires of us is for us to not blame God for real life. God is not the author of sickness. He's not the author of bad things. He's the author of good. And if we get confused about who's in charge of what's going on here, let's take a step back and just remember that God gave us free will. He gave us the ability to live on this earth and take dominion with Him. And the tricky part of all this is that if we don't have the right perspective, we can actually start blaming God for doing these hard things that are happening, and then it can make us have a really poor perspective about His goodness and His love for us, and make us draw away from Him when actually He's the one that we should lean in. It doesn't say don't fear. And if you want, please don't fear. It's kind of a good idea if you don't fear. It just said fear not. And that means that if we've been given a command to do something, it means that we have the ability to do it. And so I want to remind you that you have the ability to not fear, that you are strong, you are resilient, and all that you might be facing, it's okay. It's going to be okay. And I know some of you are actually in a position where you were unwell prior to all of this. And so this feels particularly vulnerable and scary for you. And I just want to remind you that God is with you. It's going to be okay. And I absolutely love seeing all the comments that you guys are sharing. You're doing such a great job of just surrounding one another and in this time and loving on one another. I'm going to do a few things in our community. I actually took a poll on YouTube a few weeks ago. Maybe it was a couple weeks ago. It's kind of a blur at the moment. And I asked I asked you guys to vote on the different types of shows that you might want to see here on YouTube. And as you know, I've got a Heart to Freedom membership, which many of you are part of that family. And I'm just going to take some time. I met with my team this week, and I am taking some time to get before God and and just take a step back from business as usual, as you will, and just ask God what it is that you need so that we can actually support you particularly well in this season. And there's a few things that are coming to mind. I'm not going to say that I have all the answers because I don't. And I'm probably going to say stuff that a week from now will feel irrelevant and feel like because we're in a changing time, and that's okay. But I want to be present with you here at this moment and just reassure you that you are going to be absolutely fine. It's going to be okay. We're going to be okay as a community because we've God on our side, and He is going to look after us and help us through this time. And, while let me just go slightly back in history. Some of you might actually have some personal reference point for this, depending on how old you are. Some of you may not have a reference point for this personally, but let's look back a little bit. That it actually is. It was kind of poignant to me, something that our prime minister, for those of you in America, that's kind of like a president. So he's the guy in charge here in the UK. Our prime minister said something a couple of days ago. He mentioned that uh, we're acting as if in wartime government. That was his phrase, wartime government. And I think what they've been trying to communicate is that when uh, when a war happens, these are the things that we do. We kind of slow life down, get everyone safe, look after everybody. There's some rationing that's going on. All of these kind of typical things that you might see in wartime is kind of in effect at the moment. And so some of you may have some reference point for a period of history where that was going on, but we've never really been in a global crisis like this. And there's a lot of uncharted territory at the moment. But I think if I just want to encourage you to stay safe, look after your family, wash your hands, do all the things that are sensible and, practical wisdom. But then we also have spiritual wisdom, which is important as well. And I want to encourage you at this time to really just focus in on what it is that we can do to grow through this situation that we find ourselves in. So the practical wisdom, keep your distance from people, wash your hands. Those are all practical wisdom. The spiritual wisdom might be things like, okay, what is it that I am working through in my life as this is coming to the surface? We have this kind of stuff. When you get into this, it brings up the stuff that we've perhaps put on one side and have been a little bit worried about dealing with. Maybe the things that we wanted to be distracted from are now we're being confronted with them. And Ernie does not get the virus that she's contracted because he's a bit more vulnerable. And so we just want to cover all of you in prayer, and we're doing that. And what I want to also do is pray for marriages and family connections, and I want to have us be praying for people's financial provision and for God to step into the midst of people's lives where they haven't got the hope of Jesus Christ, that they would begin to turn to Him in this time of crisis and find Him, because those of us with hope will actually be able to be in a position to reach out from a distance and love everyone well who needs it. So that, and write down your information and just be in prayer over you. And I would encourage you, feel free to do that. So I'm going to do a few things. I want to encourage you to take the time to have some spiritual wisdom in the midst of the practical wisdom, and just ask yourself, am I being honest with myself about what's going on in my heart, how I'm feeling, and if anything's coming up that feels scary, then do two things. Be really kind to yourself and recognize that this is a stressful time and you may not have the grace to kind of push through certain things that normally you would have the certain amount of grace for that. So be kind to yourself. And secondly, I'm going to encourage you to really be willing to go there. And if that fear is bubbling to the surface, then hit that thing head on. I want to encourage you to not just distract yourself in other ways, but use this time of quiet, if you have quiet in your world, and really delve through this stuff. If you are in a different, I mean, you're in a different period of time right now, things are different. And, do what you can to take courage and to be stepping toward the things that God has for you in this season, whatever that might be. So, I would like to say that mm, if you feel that there is anything that you can do to minister to the people around you, and you have it in your hand to do that, then by all means go for it. But care for yourselves, look after your family, and just be present with God in the midst of all this. So here's the thing. Um, I feel like there's a few things that happen in moments like this that I want to encourage you to process through. So, just work with me here on this for a second. So, my thought is that one of the first things that everybody has done is panic, and everybody's kind of trying to figure out how to calm down from the panic, figure out how to grapple emotionally with what's going on. We all just need to kind of take a deep breath and figure out what that looks like practically for us. So, here's a few things that I want to consider with you. One is I want to give you a couple of quick tips about how to um, change your whole world in a moment into a quiet life at home, where you're managing your own time. If this helps you, it's possible that this might help you even if you already spend a lot of time by yourself, or you are in a position where things have just changed for you. So I have spent all of about maybe 6 months, 12 months of my entire life working for other people. I have always been self employed or worked for myself, had my own clock, so to speak. And I have 6-ish years of homeschooling in my childhood behind me. So I have spent much of my life in charge of my own schedule, and I've had to learn to manage my own schedule. And there's a few things you can do in this time to feel sane, to feel like life is still happening. So I just think I'll throw a few tips out, and then I want to talk to you about what this ministry is going to do to just support you in this time and how we're moving forward practically. So, um, one of the things you can do is sit down and come up with a routine that you're going to live by. And then, even if you're the only person in your house, do it. Get up at a certain time, get fully dressed, put your makeup on if you're a makeup gal, put your shoes on, get your whole day started. Have breakfast when you would have breakfast. Have that cup of coffee or tea when you would have it. Go to work. If your work is now at home, then find a place that you're going to do that work. And even if it's the corner of your dining room and you clear it afterwards, then just do that. Just clear it all up and put it to one side. And if you need to, then pull it back out the next day. But find a routine for yourself that means that it matches very similarly to what you would do if you were working outside of the home. And so you have like a sense of normal for you to get going with. And so you have this place or a folder or whatever it is. And when you're done with work, you put it away and you do family life just like you would normally do family life. And then when it's time to work, you mentally go to that place, whether it's just a corner of a space or, readjust how your furniture is. If you've got a few weeks of this or months or however long this lasts, don't treat this like it's for 2 days, and set yourself up a little station for whatever it is that you might be doing that is not related to your personal life. And let those be mentally two different spaces so that you can actually close the door, so to speak, and set that to one side and then do this, and don't overwork or underwork and keep those work hours as they would normally be. Get yourself dressed, do the routines, check in socially with people on WhatsApp or on Facebook groups. We've got a Facebook group. I will introduce some posts on a regular basis throughout the week where you can chat in the comments. If you're in the Facebook group, just look for Rebecca R. Jones group on Facebook if you're not in there. And so you can just chat and have community in there. And just want to encourage you to find a routine that you can stick to that makes you feel normal. And need I say this? If you're having birthdays or anniversaries or things like that, don't skip celebrating life because it's hard right now. It's so important that we have normal. So celebrate in a different way. Be at home and do something fun. Take time to look after yourself and do the self-care that you need, and be recognizing that right now you may need a little more self-care than normal. And that's totally okay. It's totally okay. Totally okay. What I want to also say is that there is a hopeful and positive side of all of this. That is that we've had, I have lost count of the don't want to hurt my friends' feelings, but I just know that I need to be spending more time with God, and I'm feeling stuck because there's all these things to do around me. What I want to encourage you to do is let this be your moment to shine, girlfriend. Just down tools, and just you have all the permission you need to just be with God and in this time. And when this all lifts and life does move forward, let there just be a new normal. I do believe that everybody will go to a new normal when this shifts, and it is okay to say no. It's okay to shift things, but I want to just, I guess, say a word of caution that I do feel there is a high chance that you will feel tempted to find new distractions at home because it's scary to deal with maybe the disconnect that you're feeling with God or what have you. I am slightly undecided about all the things that we could or could not do because I really want to hear from you about what your greatest needs are. And I just encourage you to put them into the live chat or email me and just say, this is what I need from you in this ministry. I need this type of content from you at this time. And that will really help us to get a pulse for where you guys are at, because what you guys said you needed a few weeks ago is very different to what you probably need right now. And yet there's some very similar stuff. So I think it's really important that you give yourself space for things to feel different, but be aware that right now is such a fantastic time to just lean into the presence of God, to get comfortable with Him. And there's a ton of stuff that will help you with hearing from God at this time and connecting with Him. And that's all very helpful. So it's there for you. And honestly, this YouTube channel is a absolute minefield of incredible content, much of which is very, very on point for what you might need right now. If you are not an email subscriber, I would definitely urge you do a couple things. If you guys are not a subscriber of my YouTube channel, please click the button and subscribe. That way you'll actually find out when there's new stuff. So, if you want to get on my email list, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together an email. I'm hoping that I can send it out tomorrow, but it depends on how much time it takes me to put it together. I'm going to put like sort of a directory together of all of the things that I have to offer so that you can find it real easily and figure out. It is great to see what you guys are saying. So I just want to take a moment to read through here. Need to clear the clutter. And is there a way to scholarship any of the women having financial hardship who are paying? You know what? That's a really great question that I would love to be able to answer, and I don't have the answer to it. But Sarah, if you email in, then we can try and figure out a solution for that because I would love to give people the opportunity to scholarship other people who might need something like that. I'm debating. I will be honest with you. I'm debating whether or not I should open my Heart to Freedom membership because I know that there's a lot of content in there that would really help many of you who didn't get a chance to join at the time, but now have the time to do it. So I may do that. I've got team members who are going to help me with just looking after you spiritually. And if you email in and you need anything, I've got people who I love and trust who are working with me to look after you both in practical and spiritual matters. So it's super important to me that we just love on you well. So um, I think that I'm seeing, yeah, Delia, we need to pause and refocus on what matters. Absolutely. And I think that this is what I often teach you guys is just take a breather, take a step back, make room for God in your life. And at the moment, the whole world has just said, let's all take a breather. And while there's some really hard stuff going on, and that is the reality of the situation, there is also some positives that we can lean into with this and to just look after the hope that God brings in all of this and just lean into getting a place of um, of peace with God about everything. So I think that if any of you are needing help with particular things, I know that typically you guys are not particularly great at reaching out and saying, this is what I need right now. But I want to please implore of you that you do, because I am not worried about feeling inundated. I've got a team here, and we can say that we don't have a resource if we don't have it, but we don't know what you need unless you tell us. So please do just say, you know what, this is what I'm concerned about. The thought is that we have tons of free resources and we have some paid resources, and all of those, some of you are going to need, you'll have time on your hands and you've got the finances, and that's fine. But I honestly have a ton of free resources that I want to make sure that I get in your hands. And I also want to come out with more resources. And I want those to do a couple of things. Of course, I want them to look after you spiritually. But I actually want to encourage you to look at, y- I think that spiritually is important, but I have a ton of good content for it, helping you spiritually. Lots of good challenges that you can go through. The name sounds a little bit awkward at the moment because everything feels challenging, but go through all of these Bible art journaling challenges. Take the time to enjoy the resources. But I'm going to come out with this email directory. Just find somewhere to subscribe on the email list, and I will just over on my blog, and I will make sure that that email gets to you tomorrow or as soon as I get it ready. And basically, if you don't want you to have to try and figure out where it is, so I'm going to help you try and figure out where all that stuff is, and then on that topic right now. So I'll break all this down and help it It's good to hear your feedback about some of the stuff that you guys are but giving me some help on. I'm hearing a lot of you say that you want me to open the membership, and I'm hearing a lot of you say that the free stuff would be wonderful. So here is what I am thinking. I do think, yes, Sandy's right. Opening the membership would help make more connections. I do think that that's important. I mean, on a practical level, it is actually a lot of work to open the membership, but I need to just figure out how to do that with the amount of capacity that we have if we're going to do that. But let me talk to you about free content here for a minute. So I have been talking about with you guys about taking some time to create a weekly resource that comes out on YouTube that would be different different themes. So just like you would have, on say if you have a certain channel on TV that you might watch, there's different shows on that channel throughout the day. It's that sort of process. So if you do if you were to go onto my YouTube channel, then you would find shows that would come out like once a week, and they would be on a particular theme. So maybe the second week of the month would be a certain show that comes out, and so on and so forth. And this may be what we actually do but moving forward. But I think at the moment, it might be slightly jumbled, but while I just get into your hands the things that are going to make most sense for you right now. And I actually think that one of the things that would really help you guys is to just have some fun, because there's lots of spiritual content out there, but I think, there's you guys don't probably want to be trying to go out and source a bunch of supplies. So you want to be using what you already have in your house, and you want to just stay where you are and not spend money, but you want to know how to do something productive with your time and have fun learning new things. So I think that what I will do is take some time and just create some content that will teach you guys some fun things that you have been wanting to learn. And I have I want to kind of keep that under wraps while I try and get my head around all of this for the next uh, period of time here, but I can kind of give you some indication. So you've got some questions coming up here. Let's see. Yes, Vicky, as this finishes, it'll process and let you watch it. Sandy, organize the free content into themes would be really helpful. So yes, I'll definitely be doing that. And I do think it's going to take me a little bit of effort to do this. So your patience appreciated, but I'm not going to be sitting on my hands. I'm definitely going to be working on this because I really want to give you guys something to do to enjoy at this time and support you. So let's see. Let's see here. Sarah, take care of yourself. Don't overdo. That is appreciated. I do. I should say actually that you didn't hear from me for a couple of weeks because I actually I, I am doing absolutely fine, but I was quite unwell for a couple of weeks, and it was not the virus at all. I was just exhausted. So I took a break and did nothing and rested, and the team looked after everybody for me for a couple of weeks while I just chilled, and it was fantastic. And do what I can, but I think I have a ton of resources. Um, but I want to make sure that you can find those resources. And I just want to make sure that I'm not looking to try and get you to spend money you don't have. I'm saying I have a ton of free resources that you should be able to find easily. And I don't feel, I feel like one of the things that I've struggled with is to make it easy for you to find the content that we have. And that will take us a bit of effort to put together. But I want to recognize that Hearts of Freedom does actually help people, and some people are not short on cash. They're short, or they're having lots of time, need of, and whether that's, do you need to be helped through spiritually, or do you just need some really fun new content, or also I'm thinking of repackaging some of what I have to help you get even more out of it and enjoy it. So there's a lot of options that I can do, and I'm just going to prayerfully pause and figure out the best way forward with you guys. But I want to hear from you. So I'm so glad that you're just filling the chat with your comments and thoughts, because it's super helpful for me to really be on point with what you need. So Diane saying right now, Bible references for God's joy. That is great. I think that kind of content is really helpful for me to know. So just keep those things coming. Thank you, Vin. I appreciate all of your guys' support and care. And yeah, it's important. I cannot expect to tell you to care for yourself if I'm not going to do it for myself, because what kind of leadership is that, right? So I'm going to do my best to do self-care well, and I want you to do the same. Please, please take care of yourself. And I think, Kathy, you're saying as a new Christian, your lessons have been invaluable in helping me understand so much more of the books of the Bible. I love that. That's fantastic. I think, guys, that would be really, really fun. For instance, one of the things I'm thinking about is teaching you guys some drawing skills or lettering, for example. Apologies, it is really, really dry. The air is really dry because we have radiators, so it's making my nose itch. You would love a class studying on breaking the Lord's Prayer down. You know what? There's some fantastic resources out there, and I don't want to pretend to be the person with all the answers, but I want to be the person with the answers that you need from me at this time. So if you guys want to have me, I know Nandalyn, you asked a question on was this going to be Bible journaling related or more spiritual related? I think it probably can be a mixture of both. I know that I can teach the word, and I want to make sure that I'm able to do that for you guys. But I recognize that you guys are here because you love all that creativity. So I think that it's important to find a balance with all of that. But I think that you guys might just really enjoy the refreshing experience of learning some fun stuff, and just take all that outside of the Bible and just enjoy the creative process. And then when you feel ready, you can actually use the resources that I already have to just start creating in the Word and find it really good. One thing that I thought might be really fun that you might want to learn is how to draw florals. Maybe you might enjoy that. So if you can think of things that you might learn how to draw that you would really enjoy learning, I can break those things down. One thing I know I'm good at is teaching how to making things super simple for you. So if you feel excited about anything in particular, so just let me know. Another thing that crossed my mind is I could be doing, and I'm just telling you my thoughts here because I want you guys to tell me what your thoughts are on things. I'm sure you could probably say like yes to everything, but when you kind of conclude your thoughts on things I've been saying, then by all means, tell me what your absolute favorite ideas are that I've been talking to you about. Something else that crossed my mind is that I could bring out some mini courses that are super cost effective, that might go into the sort of introductory of certain things. So like script lettering, or on gelatos, or on colored pencils, or whatever it is, in a paid way, because I love giving free value. So I'm going to be showing up on YouTube. So what I need to do I need to gather all of your responses. I need to figure out what you need. And I'm aware that as soon as, like, I have actually looked into this. Netflix has had a 12.4% uptake in memberships because everybody's stuck at home watching Netflix. When y'all get bored of Netflix, you're probably going to want to do something productive with your time that is enjoyable. Pick up a new skill such as lettering, or that you can actually, get your hands stuck into something small and meaningful that helps you to feel like you're building skill. I think you can just have some fun with this. Enjoy this season of rest and quiet. And if it doesn't feel restful and quiet in your world, then do what you can to just kind of step back from things. So, yes, it's fun. You can actually watch YouTube on your TV, and that is quite fun. So, depending on what kind of TV you have, you probably have the ability to do that, which is super great because then you can just sit and watch me on large scale and just have fun on a lap desk if you want to chill in front of the screen. So I honestly want to encourage you guys to get into our community and just rally around each other and be a place of care and connection. Those of you who are Heart Freedom members, don't neglect just logging in and getting into the course community, that forum that we have there, our private page, and just connecting with one another. Get on a local level if you want to, or on spiritual topics, and just love each other through this time. And let's come around each other in the Facebook group as well. Remind you that you are resilient. You have the hope of Jesus Christ, and you are capable of weathering what is going on here. And you are totally going to get through this. So I think that there are some really fun things that you can do to really enjoy this season. And it is just important that you don't take a perspective that this is somehow God trying to make your life miserable, or that this is somehow something that you need to kind of force your way through all of the hardships and, let it beat some character into you. God is more than capable of building character in your life without making this hard. So just give yourself a deep breath, enjoy, let us just grow together and get into a place of peace together with our community, and let's grow together, shall we? I'll just wrap things up. If you have any last questions or thoughts that you want to put on here, go ahead, and you can come back and watch this if you want. I really love each one of you, and you really are just such a wonderful community. And I just want to encourage you that really there is so much opportunity here for you to just have some fun with us together, and for us to just enjoy learning some fun new skills. And so some of that may not feel particularly spiritual, but it will actually help you to really enjoy life, which makes you more pleasant to be around probably. And it can help you to enjoy life a bit more. And then you can actually take those skills with confidence into the word. So I'm probably going to have a lot of fun content for a while, and I will definitely show up and talk to you about those spiritual things as well. So I hope that I have not missed anything, but just want to let you all know that I will go through these comments, and I will be praying for you, and just want to encourage you to really stay connected. If you're feeling isolated, obviously we're all self-isolating, but if you are feeling isolated, reach out, and just don't let yourself go down a rabbit hole without reaching out for help. And just stay safe, look after you and your family. I am so excited for how God will make beauty out of this season. So I want you to just love yourself well and know that this is going to be something that God can really work through in spite of the difficulties we may face. And I'm looking forward to what that looks like. So give me a moment to gather my thoughts. I'll put first a directory together and get that out to you guys so that you can kind of find your way around the things that are most exciting to you. And then I will look at what it is that we need to create or repackage or whatever. So please do email in, respond. I'm going to ask a lot of questions in the next few weeks as I try and learn what it is that you guys need. And so please do look for those polls and questions that I have and just give me feedback to the hilt so that I can serve you guys well. And let's just take care of one another through this time. You're not alone and you're so, so loved. I will see you soon. Love you all very much. Take care.